This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Hey everybody, welcome to the DNP-CD Sports Podcast brought to you by Oddshark. I am your host, Tony Farmer, and my co-host, who's usually besides me on set, Chad Fisher, is in Southern California right now, and we're going to be talking to Chad in a bit when we talk about the Week 5 NFL lines. This segment has been very popular. I think we've won a lot of people a lot of money so far, so Chad and I are really excited to talk about NFL football Week 5. But first, we've got a couple great interviews. We're going to interview John Gallagher from the University of Hartford and Brette Tanner from Abilene Christian, both men's basketball coaches. These are going to be awesome interviews. We're really looking forward to talking to these guys. I want to acknowledge a little bit of a unconventional show today, though, because like I said, Chad is in Southern California, so we're going to be bringing him in through Zoom. But these interviews were actually taped last week with these coaches. So you're going to notice we might be wearing different clothes. At one point, Chad's going to be on set, and then he's not on set. And that's just because we taped these interviews last week. So bear with us on that. It's a little bit unconventional, but the show is going to be phenomenal today. I'm confident in that for sure. Before these interviews, I want to go ahead and do a little readout for our favorite sponsor here, our lead sponsor, Oddshark. Oddshark is your source for the latest odds from leading authorities, expert editorial content, the hottest sports news, and detailed matchup picks. So if you're looking for statistics and trends for these upcoming NFL games this week, maybe a little college football, Oddshark has that too. And best of all, guys, it's absolutely free. You can get in-depth expert analysis, odds, trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. So all your friends out there know you're the sharp bettor. They've got decades of stats in their databases, and their insiders give you takes so hot that they sizzle. They're your one-stop shop for all your odds and information on sports and pop culture events. So if you want to get a better understanding of the odds, maybe the math behind the numbers, how the lines are set, or why do these lines move during the week in the NFL and college football, Oddshark will give you all the tools that you need. They're a proven industry powerhouse. Oddshark has info from around the globe, giving you the chance to access the best sports odds on the planet. They've got great bonuses on there too, by the way, folks. So whether you want to check out tonight's odds, maybe a little baseball action, the MLB playoffs are heating up, maybe some preseason basketball, hockey, anything you want, head on over to Oddshark and start thinking like a shark today. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start our interview here with John Gallagher from the University of Hartford.
Our guest today is entering his 12th season as head coach of the University of Hartford. They're an up-and-coming program that's garnered at least 18 wins in 3 of the last 4 years. He's amassed 157 wins as a head coach. He led UH to the NCAA tournament last year as a 16 seed. They lost in the first round to the eventual national champion Baylor Bears. They are the reigning America East tournament champions, and it was their first ever America East title, as well as their first trip to the NCAA tournament. They're looking to make their first ever back-to-back trips to the big dance. Please welcome to the show the head coach of the University of Hartford, John Gallagher. Coach, thanks for coming on the show, brother.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
We're doing great, man. We're really excited to talk to you, man. I want to get right into it. So you were an assistant at Boston College for all of 2 weeks before you accepted the job at Hartford. I want to know, Coach, I've had pimples that have lasted longer than that. What was going on? Did you just want to get out of there, or was the opportunity just way too good to pass up?
No, my best friend was just now announced the head coach, Steve Donahue, and he basically called me and said, Hartford job is going to open. I said, what do you think? He said, these jobs are hard to get, Division I jobs. Mm-hmm. If we win a lot at BC, the job you get is Hartford. So why don't you take it now?
Wow.
And I'll never forget that night. I called him. I said, dude, I got the job. We were laughing. So he stayed my best friend. And it was a memorable night because I'll never forget. I went back to the hotel room in the downtown Marriott at Hartford, and I laid down with my clothes on, with my that I interviewed in. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to close my eyes for two minutes. I was so tired.
Mm.
I woke up at 3 a.m. Oh, I didn't call. I didn't get back to my wife, my mother, no one.
Damn.
I was calling people at 3:30 in the morning telling them I got the job.
They probably thought you were out drinking all night or something.
He's like, coach is wasted, man.
And you got to understand. I was here as an assistant for 2 years.
Yeah.
I went back to Philly, and then I went to BC. I went to Penn, but then I went to BC. So my wife, who I met in my 2 years and got married, thought I was drinking with, like, all these, crazy thoughts go through her mind. She was like, dude, you didn't call me. I was like, I've been asleep on the Marriott bed.
In my interview clothes.
Yeah. She thought you just went out and got wasted immediately and thought, they'll figure it out one way or the other,
She'll hear in the news.
Exactly.
Coach, you were a 4 seed in the America East tournament last year and obviously not the favorite. Can you talk about how special that run was and how were y'all able to pull that off as such a big underdog in that tournament? And follow up, what factors coalesced to make that happen, that special run?
Well, we didn't get to play everybody. So we were the team. We thought we were like probably the 2 or 3 seed, maybe even the 1, but we fumbled a little bit. But we didn't get – we played the least amount of home games as because of COVID. Our home games got canceled.
That's right.
Our Vermont home series got canceled. Our Albany home series got canceled. So we felt – obviously we were winning a ton of games at home with a great home win streak going. We felt that we had a good chance. Once we hosted the first weekend, we beat Binghamton here, and then we beat Albany here, which was a war. And I'll never forget. It was one of those games where the Albany game, we had to play. We were in such foul trouble. We had to play a guard the last 2 minutes of the first half at the 5 spot.
Damn.
And we won that game. And then the Vermont game was unbelievable. We went up there and won. And then obviously we hosted UMass Lowell, who upset UMBC, which, went in our favor. But it was a great run and there were a lot of factors involved. But, I think the core group of guys that returned this year, once you taste it, it makes it easier this year to do it again.
Yeah. Coach, Maceo Teague, a former guard for Baylor, sent you a funny cameo that I saw on your Twitter. And he said that you guys were one of the better teams that they played against in the tournament. I don't know, how did that make you feel? He said you guys got after it and everything. And that's got to help hearing that from a competitor, especially from a guy that was on the national championship team.
Well, it's funny. When we played the game, if you look at the timeout, we were up on the under 8 timeout. So 12 minutes into the game, we were up, I think it was 14-13.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned, and CBS honed into me. And I turned to my staff and said, we're in trouble here, boys. We should be up 14-5.
Oh, wow.
I said, this is a game. We should be up 7 or 8 right now. This doesn't go, they're not playing great. And, when teams like that are explosive, so they went on the run at the end of the half.
Right.
And you could just feel like, so they were coming off the Oklahoma State loss, right?
Yep.
And in the Big 12 tournament, which I didn't like, I wanted somebody that had won a conference tournament,
Yeah.
Anytime you're a 16, you want somebody that just won the conference tournament or even a 15 seed, because they're tired.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
This is a team that had extra rest and it showed. And I thought after our game, they were going to go on a hellacious run.
Yeah, and so, Coach, like you said, you had a first half lead over the eventual national championship team, Baylor. What did that? Even though you guys didn't win, but what did that do for your program and the expectations around your program, and then also for you as a coach? What did you take away from that game?
We talk about it even this week in practices. That was a great feeling getting there. I think this team, because we're so deep and we're really talented. Can you win a game in the tournament? Can you get through the first week? How do you do that? Well, you got to win your league, because the America East is a great league. And to do those things, you have to compete every day. But the great thing is, what you did say is the expectations have changed, and sort of the standard has changed. And, you raise the bar, you lose the losers. You lower the bar, you lose the winners.
Mhm.
We've tried to raise the bar. And the standard has risen. And I think that game has given us a taste of what can be for our program.
You guys have a heated rivalry with Vermont. You brought them up earlier. They've won at least a share of the America East title in the past 5 years. For people that aren't familiar, can you kind of give us a glimpse into that rivalry and what it's like for the coaches and players?
Yeah. First off, Vermont, last 10 years in New England, they're the winningest program in New England.
Mhm.
Not UConn, not Boston College.
Wow.
They're the winningest program in New England.
Good point.
So I want to give my credit to John Becker, who's a friend and a great coach. In my opinion, should be a BCS level coach. He's that good of a basketball coach. That being said, look, we've been knocking on the door and knocking. We beat them in their 33 game to knock off their 33 game home winning streak, which was, one of the, that was a really good Vermont team.
Mhm.
And he's just done an unbelievable job. And I think the fact that we're there, we're a top 4 team every year in this league every year now. It's a credit to our coaches and players. And we sort of have an identity, but the rivalry going into that building and playing, it's just so hard to win.
Mhm.
And your margin of error, like they talked about on Monday Night Football last night with my Philadelphia Eagles, is thin.
Mhm.
The margin of error is thin.
Mhm.
And, my friend Steve Levy kept commenting on it last night. The margin of error is thin for the Eagles. Well, if you go into Vermont, it's thin for anybody.
Yeah.
Our condolences, by the way, for the Eagles
Yeah.
lost.
But condolences. We looked a step slow last night.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
For those of us who may have had the Eagles plus 3.5, that was tough to watch. That was not an easy game.
Yeah.
I will say this. I don't know plus or minus because I'm not allowed to bet. But let me tell you something. That game wasn't even close. At least you could have gone to bed at half.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's true.
Good point.
I was able to get to bed a little earlier last night, which was nice. But Coach, you have guys on the roster from the Czech Republic, Australia, New Zealand, Alaska. You're literally recruiting all over the country, and this year you're returning a lot of experience from that conference championship team last year. What do you expect? Who do you expect major contributions from this year? And is there a younger guy on the roster that fans may not know about that's going to impress people when they see him?
So, we're 9-10 deep right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we return a player of the year type of player in Austin Williams. Our best player last year got hurt. He had 24 in the UConn game. Moses Flowers. They're our wings. And then I think one of the best 3-point shooters in the America East is a kid, DJ Mitchell. We got a transfer from Coppin State, who's a 5th-year point guard, DeJuan Clayton, who's, he might be one of the better, and I've had great point guards here. He might be my best point guard. And then front court, we got a transfer from LaSalle, who Jared Kimbrough, who's, I think he could guard 1 through 5.
Oh wow!
He's that type of athlete. He's 6'8.5". He's long, athletic. He's got good skill. He's tough. He's a great teammate. And then we got Hunter Marks, who is a 3-year starter from Australia. Phillips Island, Australia, who's, he's a pro. He's going to play professionally for 10 years. The way he treats the game, he's gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten so much better. And then we got a 6'10" big guy 6'10" and a half big guy out of New Zealand, Thomas Webley, who's he's gotten so much better. And when we got him, there were high majors that recruited him coming out. And I thought, I really, really thought if he gets better and better, he's got a real shot to do some major, major damage in college basketball. And, I'm not just saying it's his growth in the last 6 months has been unbelievable. And our last guy is a Division II transfer, David Shriver, who's a Division II transfer from West Virginia, who's the best shooter in our gym every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
So we're deep. And look, we got Mike Dunn, who's a constant. His brother played here. He's a program guy, and Matt Hobbs, whose brother also played here. We have 2 sets of brothers that played here. And they're playing
Nice.
here.
Keep it in the family.
So that's a sign that they at least like me.
yeah, right.
So no, but I mean, we're deep. We shoot it. We defend. We have answers at a lot of spots. Let's stay healthy and let's stay together. And we do have one freshman, Curtis Henderson, who's been really impressive. So we have to figure out the minutes. I'm not a guy that likes to play 10. I like to play 7 or 8. Sometimes people like to think I play 6. But,
that's a good problem to have, though, right, Coach?
It is a great problem.
Yeah.
We're going to be deep. And the good thing about being a 12-year Division I head coach is there's no experiments. This is what we do. This is how we play. And we know who we are. And let's go do it.
Yeah.
Coach, I admire what you do as a leader working with college students. I worked with college students for several years on the administrative side of things and residence life, orientation and things like that. My favorite question to ask college head coaches is, how do you motivate your players? How do you motivate college students? Because I think college students today, it's a different beast. And I wonder if you agree than several years ago. I mean, with social media and all these different outside influences. So how do you motivate today's college students?
So, I think, and I've studied this over my time as a coach and even as a human being, right? So intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic. I'm an intrinsic guy. Like we have a line here, you should be getting in the gym extra, but nobody's going to force you. No one's going to force you. I don't check a class here. Like I have assistant coaches that have come here and said, do I have to go check classes? If you check classes, okay, that means you're appeasing me so that kid can stay eligible so he can help me. That's not why we do it. Here's why we do it. So they get an education. They have to be intrinsically motivated to get up to get to that class. So now our team GPA is, 3.4 every year.
Wow.
Nice.
People are blown away at it because really the standard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go check a kid's class. All right. When he's 24 years old, who's paying his credit card bill? Who's paying his rent? Who's paying? People knocking on his door saying, "Hey, I need to pay." There's no babysitters.
Yeah.
This isn't babysitting.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is, and look, when I first recruit them, I say, look, I don't know how many championships going to win, but my goal is to have 2 tables at your wedding of Hartford people. We call it the neighborhood.
Nice.
I have a thing called #the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Nice.
We want to have 2 tables of neighborhood people. Okay. And that's sort of our world is, if it's bigger, it's better. If it's this, it's better. If it's, if you have more of it, materialistic, I just think the opposite. I think if you can live with less, and you can, it teaches you that giving is better than receiving.
Yeah.
And I think when you live in that, there's a writer I make a lot of my players read, Anthony DeMella, former Jesuit priest, who wrote a book called Awareness. And people thought, I go to Mass on Sunday, right? That some priest gave it to me. The guy that ran SEAL Team 6, Coleman Ruiz, a good friend of mine, gave it to me. And my point is like, if you said to me, what do I try to do with my players? I try to make them more awake, aware, make them more aware of the opportunity at 18, 19, 20 that they have in front of them. If you're aware, you appreciate more. If you're asleep walking through college, you have animosity with life. Life is not And that's a common thing because you touched on it. There's more. And I said this in a shooting drill to one of our players. Look, I get it. I don't know if I could grow up in this age because of the distractions you have.
Mm.
Okay. The reality is you have to be more aware of what your purpose is than ever before, because you're held accountable more now than ever. If you write something on social media, it will follow you for 50 years. It wasn't like that in 1995, graduating from Cardinal O'Hara outside of Philly.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way graduating from St. Joe's after playing. What I'm saying is kids nowadays have to become adults way quicker. And that is unfortunate. But the reality is we have to, as educators, we have to prepare.
Yeah, definitely. Coach, you alluded to my next question there. You played at St. Joe's for Coach Phil Martelli. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time. He's now the lead assistant at the University of Michigan. I'm a big Michigan fan as well. Can you tell us about Coach Martelli and what it's like to play for him?
Just an amazing man, a giver, someone that puts perspective on everything.
Yeah.
Has a knack for knowing when you need a phone call. Has it just even now? Just an amazing leader. I people always say, "What's the best thing about him?" Is it his offense? Is it his defense? What's he teach the best? I think I always say it's his unconditional love for his players.
Oh, wow.
And that's something that, I admire and, I try to emulate myself, because your heart is where, he knows how to make you feel a certain way. And that's why I think, 22 years later is the last time I played for him. You still have a loving feeling for him.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I was so happy when the University of Michigan hired him. If you ever speak to him, Coach, we're trying to get in touch with him. We'd love to have him on the show as well and get him a little juxtapose on you, and so we can find out some dirt on you and see what kind of player you were.
I will get that. I will send him a message.
That would be great, Coach. But last couple of questions we have here for you, Coach. We'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about this. An hour after your loss to Baylor in the NCAA tournament, you received some pretty devastating news that Hartford will begin the transition from D1 basketball to Division III. How difficult was that to take, especially only an hour after the biggest moment in your program's history?
So we're at the JW Marriott in Indianapolis, and every team's there. So below me, a couple floors, was Porter Moser. So he's the Oklahoma coach now. So he's one of my best buddies. So they came and told me the news. I left my computer in the room.
Yeah. Okay.
I left my book that I take notes in. I was so disheveled. It was like, honestly, I packed, right? And you know how you pack and you're not we'll talk about being dead asleep.
Yeah. I
was like, my mind. So I was packing, forgetting valuable things. And what I got to the airport, my top assistant said to me, "Are you okay?" And he's basically runs the program with me, Tom Devitt. I said, "Tom, I just got news." I told him the news, right? That they want to do this. And Tom looked at me and said, "Are you bleeping kidding me?" I said, he said, "You're joking." He walked away because he thought I was joking.
Wow.
And I just let him go. And I didn't want to tell anybody, but I told him because I didn't want to tell my younger assistants, because this was the most euphoric moment.
Yeah.
They were going to have. I mean, here it is, we're in the NCAA tournament. Every team's there. We gave a good performance against the best team in the land, and we're getting on a plane back to Hartford. And I didn't want to take it away, so I got home. I couldn't really talk about it for a couple of days, and then I started talking. I said, this can't be true. And I talked to a couple of the other coaches, and the baseball coach he left, he said, no, this is going on. And they have kept it from me.
Wow. Damn.
All the other coaches in the program had kept it from me. So they were very, classy about it. And look, I hope cooler heads prevail. I hope we stay Division I, but I know we're going to have a chance in the NCAA tournament this year, and we're going to be really good, and we're deep. So all I could do is coach today and be grateful for this opportunity. Yeah,
Coach. So can you tell us a little bit about that, about your decision to stay at Hartford? Because you could have easily jumped ship. As you said, you've got high-level coaching friends all over the country. You could have gone anywhere. You could have taken another head coaching position somewhere else, but you decided to stay with the team. And you said in a meeting with your players that even if it was a bloodbath, you were going to stick around. Can you tell us about that decision to stick with the team, even though all this stuff's going on?
It's really not me. It's my parents. It's my, Irish Catholic background. It's just who I am. I mean, it's really not who I am. It's who my family is. It's the youngest of 53 first cousins. Before my dad became a lawyer, he was a crane operator. It's just what you stand for. And it was an opportunity. There's I could have left. I had some stuff, and I didn't even blink, because you don't leave a place that's like a child to you. And I have a love for this place and this neighborhood in this city that's great. So I'm not going to leave at this time, because if I left at this time, the people in this community, in my opinion, it would be leaving them out to dry. Me leaving out this whole town and this whole people that got behind me. It would leave. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like leaving somebody when they're hanging. And I told the players, look, you guys can go, but I'm going to take this beating if you leave. And we're going to, and everyone said it's going to kill your career. It's going to be, I said, I don't care. This is about standing for something that's bigger than anything else. That's and then awesome. What happened is the players followed.
That's awesome.
And the players, we have a deep, loving relationship. And I coach them hard, but I love them hard. And, this is the way, I would want someone to coach my son. And, it's not all, cupcakes and ice cream, but it's a lot of fun when you do it this way, because it's very authentic and it's real. And, we have what we call carefrontations. I care about you. Let's have a confrontation.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So carefrontations are when, Coach, I have to share news that the truth is why we coach. Yeah. And I have to tell you the truth.
I'm going to start.
This is the reality.
I'm going to start using that with my girlfriend, carefrontations.
I like that.
Not too much.
Yeah, not too much.
Yeah, don't take advantage of that too much. Yeah. But Coach, you referred to yourself as an educator earlier. What a great message for your student, because your students in the future are going to have situations where they're going to be tempted to bail, right? I mean, who knows? It could be a marriage. It could be a difficult job. Who knows? And the fact that you are being a leader right now and showing them that, you can stick through the hard times and then hopefully have success afterwards. What a great educational mentorship type thing that you're sharing with your students right now by taking that approach. So kudos to you for that, man.
Well, it's also, your players will follow you more than they follow your words. Okay.
Very true.
And that's why I believe in positive coaching with a lot of fun. And, we have a blast every day. Like, I can't tell you the fun we're having. I mean, we're having so much fun in our workouts with each other and getting better. And, I used to look at games with such angst. And for all the young coaches out there now, it's like, I look at all the other teams with such respect, and I have such respect and admiration for every program, because everybody's putting effort and time and their way of playing out there. Coaching's like art. This is how they view their team and how to play the game. And that's why this is such a great, Division I sports is so great. And that's why I think the crown jewel of sports is the NCAA tournament. Yeah. It's the crown jewel.
I couldn't agree more.
It's not the Super Bowl. It's not World Series.
It's better.
The crown jewel is the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's better.
That's why we have to treat the game and our business the right way.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's better than all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's a couple week event instead of just one singular event. That's what I love it so much. Coach, the last question on this topic that I want to ask you before we wrap things up. It didn't seem like University President Gary Woodward communicated with you very well leading up to and following that decision. Have you had a chance to talk to him? And are you satisfied with the answers you received?
Yeah, no, I still haven't talked to him.
Oh, wow.
But look, I respect leadership. I want to make this known. I respect people in leadership. They have tough decisions to make. What I do is I'm the basketball coach, and I'm here to represent the university in a positive fashion. I'm grateful. Every day I'm grateful. I get on my knees and pray every morning how lucky I am to be a basketball coach. If I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm somewhere else. But we will bring that neighborhood work ethic and that neighborhood mentality wherever the next stop is. If this happens not to be the next stop. But as far as communication goes, look, we have few emails back and forth. That's about it. And I respect leadership.
Yeah. Okay. That was good. That's a good answer, Coach. I appreciate that. Coach, last question here. Coming off such a successful season, you've raised the bar of expectations at Hartford. You said this coming year will be the best team you've ever had and the best in the program's history. So I want to know, what are your expectations for this year and what do you expect for your team to accomplish?
We have a saying here. We don't do goals here. We don't do goals. We do commitments.
Okay.
There we go. Commitments.
I like that.
And goals are like some fairy tale. I love fairy tales. C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite writers, says when you get older, you want to have more fairy tales. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, when you're playing games, what wins is what you're committed to. What wins is your goals don't help you win. Your commitments help you win. Mm-hmm. So we want to be committed first and foremost to each other. And that, that will take care of wins and losses. Just like the intrinsic, commitment is intrinsic. It's inside of each other. Goals are extrinsic. And that's where, extrinsically motivate people wear down easily. Intrinsically, they can go through anything. Those types of, that's what we try to want to create is the intrinsic, person and athlete that is doing things more than the wins and losses, is doing it for bigger reasons than that. And that's the energy that you get from. And that's where, I think you really, really have to make a decision when you're coaching. Are you a goal oriented or are you commitment oriented? And I think there's many ways to do it. That's why it's beautiful to see.
Yeah. Coach, this is crazy. This is the second time I've heard C.S. Lewis's name today, actually, which is weird. I was listening to my favorite musician is Van Morrison, and he was referencing him in one of the songs. So we got we got something in common there. Just listening to some C.S. Lewis today.
What was
both
the
of us.
Van Morrison song?
Summertime in England. It's a 15-minute song. Yes, Van Morrison is my favorite musician. I named my son after him, actually. So anytime I get a chance.
Have you ever gone and seen him? Have you met him?
Oh, yeah. I've seen him 10 times. I'm going to see him next week in San Diego, actually. I would love to meet him. He's like, like I said, I named my son after him. My son's name is Van. I'm going to see him next week in San Diego, actually. I've seen him in Belfast on his 70th birthday 5 years ago. I went all the way out there to see him there. See him in New York, L.A., Vegas, New Orleans. I've seen him a lot of places. You got like
He's it.
you got some connections or something like that? You can give me some backstage passes? What's going on?
No,
You had a sly grin on your face. I was like, yeah.
No, but I love the guy.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to meet him, I'll go with you.
Oh, Coach, that's awesome. You introduced me to Porter Moser and Coach Martelli, and I'll try and see what I can do with Van Morrison.
Hey, we're in the live music capital of the world down here in Austin, so it could work out.
I love it. My first point guard ever, Aiken High School, Austin, Texas.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Okay, Aiken. Yeah, that's not too far from here. It's on the east side, I believe.
For sure. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's my now assistant coach, Yolonzo Moore.
Oh, okay.
that's
Yolonzo.
awesome.
Yeah, I know Coach Yolonzo. Yeah,
That's
I saw him
awesome.
on there when I was researching this. Coach, you're cool as hell,
he's from
man.
Austin, Texas.
That's crazy. Well, tell him we said hi. And Coach, you're cool as hell, man. I can see why players love to play for you. You're definitely made a fan out of the two of us. We're going to be following you guys this year, rooting for you big time. And we couldn't be happier to talk to you, Coach. We want to have you on again when you guys make your first ever back-to-back trip to the NCAA tournament and talk to you about it then, too.
Well, I would love to come back on, and it's great talking to you guys. And if you ever need anything, I'm here.
Coach, yeah, if you ever talk to Porter or Coach Martelli, please let us know. We'd love to have them on the show for sure.
I'll connect those two dots. They're very easy to do.
That's awesome, Coach.
Thank
we really
you so
appreciate
much,
it.
man. Your time was really precious for us. Thank you.
guys.
Thanks,
Take
Coach.
care.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Good luck
you.
this year.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're super proud to announce that the DNP-CD Sports Podcast is now sponsored by BetterHelp. That's Better, H-E-L-P. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? I know that, as I've spoken before, I've been going to therapy for a year and a half now. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's helped me in so many areas of my life, and I couldn't recommend it more highly. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours, and this is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional therapy done securely online.
Yeah, there's a broad range of expertise available that these counselors have. They may not be locally available to you, but they are through BetterHelp. The service is available to clients worldwide, doesn't matter where you live, and you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. That includes 3 a.m. You'll get a timely and thoughtful response. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. You won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable, stuffy waiting room as you do with traditional therapy.
Yeah, BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. That's betterhelp.com.
Yeah, you can visit their website and read the testimonials that are posted on there literally every single day. I know anytime I buy a product or a service, I want to actually hear from people who have actually used that product or service. And so if you're like me and you want to do that, you can go to BetterHelp's website. That's betterhelp.com/reviews. You can visit betterhelp.com/DNP. That's betterhelp.com/DNP, the name of our show. And you can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
Yeah, BetterHelp is becoming so popular, and becoming so popular, in fact, that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. We also have a special offer for our listeners. You can get 10% off your first month by going to betterhelp.com/DNP, as in did not play. You're going to get 10% off your first month. That's an awesome deal.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you check them out. betterhelp.com. All right, our guest today was an assistant coach at Abilene Christian since 2013 and is entering his first year as a head coach of the Abilene Christian Wildcats. Last year as a 14 seed, ACU defeated number 3 seeded Texas in an NCAA tournament. It was an instant classic game. They lost to eventual runner-up UCLA in the second round. They're coming off the most successful season in ACU history and set a school record with a 24-5 season last year. He's helped lead ACU to 3 straight 20-plus win seasons and returns a ton of talent from a year ago. Please welcome to the DNP-CD Sports Podcast, Coach Brette Tanner. Coach, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Yeah, there's so much to get to here. Let's just jump right into it. Coach, after your historic win over Texas in the tournament last year, the team celebrated by dancing in the locker room. I saw you got in there and gave a little shimmy. I want to know, have you been working on your dance moves, or are you confident in the skills you already have? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, my dance skills are not quite there. If you actually watch the video, they tried to get me to dance all year, man. We danced after every single conference win, and I wouldn't do it. And so I figured out at that point, I mean, you beat Texas in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I got to do it.
You got to.
Obviously, I was a defensive guy, so I took a charge right there at the end.
I saw that. That was perfect form, Coach. I'm sure that's what you're teaching them in practice. Yeah.
On a serious note, how sweet was that victory over Texas? I don't know if you knew this, but we're based in Austin, so there was a lot of people around town.
Made the whole town sad, Coach.
we saw it firsthand. They're considered the power team in Texas, and to get such a big statement win had to feel great for you in that program. Can you bring us back to that?
Yeah, man, it was unbelievable. As crazy as it sounds, man, myself and Coach Golding, we really felt like we had a chance to win the game going into it. And we tried to instill that into our players. We just felt like the matchups were good for us. The way we defended, we thought was a good way to attack them. And so we really prepared for that. But at the end of the day, I think there's always a piece of you that knows it's a long shot. And so people have asked me, man, like, hey, what was it like? The locker room, the celebration. I don't remember. It was all blurred. I know Gabrielle Union was tweeting at some of our guys, and I remember that. I remember just it being nuts on the bus, but I don't remember a whole lot. It was chaos, man. But it was a lot of fun. I've been fortunate to be in some NCAA tournaments in the past, but I've never been fortunate enough to win a game like that. And for us, we played Kentucky a couple years ago in our first tournament here at ACU, and that was great, but Texas that's our blue blood. You know what I mean? Beating UT was by far the best.
Yeah.
When you said you had a good feeling going into that game, what was it? Was it particular matchups? Was it a weakness that you saw from them? I mean, what gave you some confidence that, hey, we might actually be able to pull this off?
Well, I think I think some people don't understand. We have good players too. And, they had a bunch of pros, but we have good players too. And I thought the way we defended, the kind of our defensive philosophy, that we could really turn them over, which we did. I think we turned them over more than 22 times or something like that, which they've been turned over all year. But we felt like we could really attack them on the defensive end. And so that was kind of, I don't know, call it, arrogance or cockiness or whatever you want to call it, but we really believed in what we did defensively and thought it could hurt them.
Yeah, speaking of defensively, you got this. We see you got that score up there in your office, 53-52. That is just amazing to hold that type of team to 52 points is straight up amazing, for real.
Yeah, we've caught some flack for that, man. We put it on the back of our camp T-shirts. I think some social media kind of went crazy this summer. Some of the guys in Austin didn't like it too much. One of my best friends on the planet, man, is now the head coach at Texas. And, we've had a few conversations about it too, man. We're going to put it everywhere we can.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. When you talk to Coach Beard, tell him we're trying to get a hold of him. We were trying to get him on the show here so we can get you juxtaposed to one another, So
I'll see if I can help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach. Coach, you guys were undefeated at home last year and won by an average of 27 points per game. That's just straight up dominant. I just want to ask you, are you having the janitor loosen the opposing team's hoops before? Why not?
Whatever it takes.
But why are you guys able to be so dominant at home last year? And obviously you guys probably expect the same this year, having fans back.
Yeah, here's the crazy part, man, is that with COVID and everything last year, people limited capacity. I think it was 25%. And so we're building a brand new facility here. It's amazing, man. It's going to be one of the best mid-major facilities in the country. So we were actually kicked out of Moody Coliseum last year, and we played in our what we call the Teague Athletic Center, which is actually an indoor tennis facility. It was pretty amazing what the people here did, man. That we put a floor down, we put some bleachers in. So 25% capacity in Teague was actually pretty wild and got pretty loud. And so we actually had a home court advantage where I think a lot of people didn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Coach Chris Beard, you guys had a tough non-conference schedule last year, nearly beating Texas Tech in Lubbock, and you definitely showed you guys belong in that game. This year is no different. You've got another tough schedule. I've heard that you said your schedule this year will be one of the toughest ACU has ever faced. You got games at Utah and at Texas A&M this year. You're not just happy to be in those games, Coach. You look at those as opportunities to showcase your team's talent and show people that you've arrived, and you expect to win those games, not just compete, right, Coach?
Correct, man. I think we've talked about that a lot. I think our first NCAA tournament appearance kind of, it was fun. It was exciting. And the second one last year, I think, solidified us and maybe kind of legitimized us. And I think now we've got to continue that. We've got to we've got to step out there. We've got to go win some non-conference games, like at A&M or at Utah, or even when we go to the Bahamas. That's going to be a heck of a mid-major tournament, man, where every team is an NCAA tournament type team. So we've got to be successful in those to prove that we belong here, man.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Chris Beard is one of your best friends. After that upset last year, do you have any plans to get them on the schedule anytime soon, or you think they might be a little hesitant after that upset?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think Coach Beard would love to play us. We're 1-0, dude. I don't want to be the guy who lost to Texas. I want to be part of the team that beat Texas.
Yeah,
so
right.
1-0 sounds pretty good to me. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, right.
In your opening press conference, you said that you will not be afraid of expectations. Can you tell us what are those expectations for your program this year, and what do y'all expect to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, we're moving into a new league, which is, supposedly the competition is going to be a little bit better. We felt like the Southland was pretty good last year, too, and half of the Southland was moving with us. But it's going to be a new league, great competition. I think it's harder to schedule games because of what we've been able to accomplish the last couple of years. But with the success we've had, those expectations, I think, are through the roof here. But without those expectations, I wouldn't be sitting here as the head coach at Abilene Christian. So I'm not going to run from them, man. Our team is going to embrace those expectations. I think we expect to be a team that at the end of every year is competing for an NCAA tournament bid.
Yeah.
We're still, even though we're in the WAC, we're still a one bid league right now. Our goal as a league is to make it a multi-bid league. And I think teams like us and some of the other teams in the league, by being really competitive in the non-conference, are what's going to create that.
Yeah, you definitely helped your conference's profile with that big upset win. Coach, you seem to me like a little bit of a player's coach, and the players seem to respond well to you. Can you talk about how important it is for players, as a coach, how important it is for those players to like you and trust you?
Yeah, I think, man, we talk here all the time about building real relationships, and we mean that. It's not just talk. It's not just coach speak. I coach these guys hard, man. They know it. I mean, you can't play the way we play defensively by being soft, and so we coach them extremely hard. But these guys know that I love them and I care about them, and they know that because we spend time really focused on building real relationships, man. We're intentional about it. It's not, like I said, it's not just something. I think a lot of people talk about it, but they don't. It's not really in their part of the program. It's really a part of what we are. I don't know if I would have been that way 10 years ago, if you asked me, but I think being with Coach Golding, who's at UTEP now, he's really helped me in that regard, and understanding how important building real relationships with these guys is. And it's amazing how much harder they'll play for you when they truly do care about you and know that you care about them. Yeah,
I bet. That's so true. Coach, as you mentioned, you guys are going to be playing in the Bahamas this year for the Nassau Championship. I just want to let you know if there's an extra seat on that plane and you need like a towel guy or something like that, let me know, Coach. I'm free.
Come on, man. More the merrier.
I can make it down there. I can make it down there. But seriously, Coach, how excited are you to be playing in that tournament? You open up the tournament with your program's first ever meeting against Jacksonville State.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be really good. They return everybody. And I don't know if people realize how good they're going to actually be, but that tournament is really good. And we jumped into that because we talked about it earlier, the expectations of our program. We're trying to expand our profile, man. We're trying to be a real mid-major, not a low major. I used to tell people we were a low major basketball program, and people would get mad at me, but that's what we were.
Wow.
But now I think we want to be considered a real mid-major. To do that, we got to go play real mid-major teams and real mid-major tournaments. We can't run from competition. So we've got to go attack this thing. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be hard. I've never done something like this in the middle of the season. We've gone to Costa Rica. We've gone to the Virgin Islands on summer tours, but there you don't care. It's about having a good time. And this is going to be a business trip. And so keeping our guys focused, keeping my staff focused, on this truly being a business trip is going to be hard, but we're going to find a way to get it done.
Coach, how do you motivate players? You talked about, or we mentioned, it seems like you're a players coach and building those relationships and how important that is. I work with college students for several years in residence life, and that age of students, it's an interesting demographic to try to get through to, and you're obviously doing a great job of that as a leader. How do you lead and motivate college students?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know if there is a blueprint for it, man. I think the best thing that you can do is what I mentioned earlier, man, is they've got to know that you truly do care about them. It can't be fake. I think if they know that you truly do care, that it's real, then they'll go through a wall for you, man. I used to just coach guys really hard and then go home at night, and that was it. But now I've changed over the last 7-8 years, man, where it's more important to me now that I have a real relationship with these guys than anything else. And I think the wins kind of take care of themselves. It's amazing. I credit Joe Golding, man, for a lot of that. He really helped me change. I can still coach the way that I've always coached. I can still coach hard, but at the end of the day, man, having a real relationship with these guys, them knowing that I truly care about them, that our staff truly cares about them. We tell them all the time, they're allowed to hold me accountable, just like I'm allowed to hold them accountable to anything. If I do something that they think it goes against what we believe in, then they allow it. They hold me accountable as well, and I have to be willing to allow that. And I think when they finally see that and trust that, again, it is. They'll do anything for you, man.
Coach, that's awesome to hear, man. That gives me goosebumps. I'm ready to play right now, man. Seriously, that's great that you treat your players like that, and then allow them to make suggestions and hold you accountable as well. That's something we don't hear too much of, But Coach, you guys were one of 4 teams to join the WAC. How excited are you to make that jump, and how do you think it's going to help your program?
I think it's already helped us in terms of recruiting. I think it legitimizes us a little bit. Again, the Southland was great, dude. I spent 16 years in that league with my time at SFA and my time here. I might accidentally drive to one of those towns. I got to make sure we're pointed in the right direction when we head to our games this year. But I think that the big part is, man, there is a significant change in respect and things like that when it comes to the level. It is what it is, man. We just put it out there. And so people are answering the phone, maybe that wouldn't answer the phone before. So I think it's helped in that regard. But in the teams, man, we all know what Grand Canyon has accomplished, what New Mexico State has accomplished, and what some of these other teams in the league and who we're adding in the future. It's going to be an amazing basketball league. Everybody every team, every school that's in the WAC cares about basketball. And I think that's what you're searching for, man. We want basketball to be important. It doesn't matter if everybody's good. That's a great thing. That people know that they care about it. That helps in recruiting and everything else.
We talked about the high expectations for you guys this year. What are the hurdles or pitfalls that you've got to kind of avoid in order to hit those expectations? Any concerns going into the year?
Yeah, we lost some big pieces. So
right.
We need some new guys to really step up, especially inside. I think I'll put our guards against anybody in the country. I don't care what level. If you've watched us play, if you watched that game versus Texas, you know how good our guards are. We have every one of them back. We didn't lose one guard, and that was huge for me. That was kind of my biggest recruiting job when I took this gig, was to keep those guys around. But we've added a lot of new pieces. We like all of our guys inside, but most of them are new. And so they're going to have to really step up to the plate for us, man. We're going to need somebody to step in and be ready to play early for us to have success early. But other than that, it's just playing a tougher schedule. Maybe if we see some adversity early. The last few years, honestly, we haven't seen a whole lot of adversity, man. We've been really good in the non-conference, and that could change a little bit maybe. And so can we fight through some adversity early and keep things going? Coach,
you mentioned that you guys returned a very talented backcourt from your historic 24-win team last year, and you mentioned some of the guys are going to have to step up. But who do you expect to make that jump that's going to help you guys out, that's going to help solidify your front court maybe?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I told them the other day, dude, we'll play 5 guards if we have to. That's how much we believe in our guards. We've got guards that didn't play a whole lot last year, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, how are we going to play these guys? I'm so excited about our guards, man. But our bigs, like I said, it could be any of them. We just need a couple of them to step up to the plate. They're all new, or they're returners. We have some freshmen that didn't quite play a lot last year just because of what we had. But losing 2 all-conference guys inside, those are some big shoes to fill. But we're going to play a little bit different. Obviously, we can't just keep doing the same thing. If as personnel changes, I have to be willing to change too. And so we're going to play the same on the defensive end, but offensively, we're going to have to do some different things. I expect all of them to make an impact at some point. It's just going to be, when do they do it?
Mm-hmm. You briefly mentioned recruiting earlier. I think a lot of casual sports fans hear that word recruiting, and even serious sports fans, and they don't really know what goes into it. I think they just picture you sitting in a living room talking to somebody while, their mom is making some macaroni and cheese for you or something like that, right? Can you give some insight into the recruitment process and what goes into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the biggest part of our job. I mean, recruiting is the lifeblood of your program, right? I mean, everybody says it, and then it's true. It's a true statement. I think recruiting and scheduling is more important than what we're about to do in practice this afternoon. So, but recruiting is hard, man. It's a year-round job in any sport, but especially basketball, just because we have the summer circuit and the spring circuit and all that stuff that's going on now. But and then obviously, now that's changing with what does your community offer in terms of NIL? I mean, we can't do anything about it, but these kids aren't stupid. They can look at communities and situations and say, okay, I can maybe make a little bit of money here with my name, image, and likeness, and so that changes it too. That's a dynamic we haven't really had to dive into yet.
Good point.
And I think people don't expect us to have to deal with it at this level, but we will for sure. We're going to have to deal with it also, and it's just a constant grind, man. You have to work at it, and I think it's just like I was telling you with our players, man. You have to if you can build a real relationship with a kid in the recruiting process, it gives you a better chance. And so we do that. We're out there searching for guys that are excited to put ACU on their chest, man. Not guys that just, this is the best level I can get to.
Yeah.
We want people that truly want to be a part of our program. They know how we play, and that's what we're searching for.
Yeah, definitely. Coach, last couple questions here before we let you go. You're known as a defensive mastermind. Can you tell us what are the defensive concepts that you preach to your squad, and what are the most important concepts to have a great defense?
Yeah, I would never call myself a mastermind.
I'll do it for you, Coach.
Yeah, so I've heard people throw that around, but I'm a pretty good thief, man. I've stolen from a lot of good people. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be. I think we have to be aggressive. We're going to be extremely aggressive. You can't be afraid to play with and make mistakes. We tell our guys all the time, dude, make mistakes, go crazy, just fly around, man. And that's our mantra, dude, is just fly around. We say it all the time. We say it in timeouts. We'll be sitting there, what a player, look at the guys, and be like, just fly around. I mean, it's just what we do. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think if your guys are afraid to make mistakes, then they're not going to play for you. They're not going to play as hard. They're going to be thinking too much. And so we try to take the thinking out of it, man. We do a lot of drills, we rep a lot of things and just flying around and going crazy. And we try to celebrate championship plays, what we call championship plays. Other people call them different things, but diving on the floor for loose ball, taking charges, grabbing big rebounds, man, getting steals. We celebrate those things, man. We watch them on film. We talk about them. And I think if you can do that and you can have fun with it, and you can make doing something hard really fun, then you're going to be pretty good at it. And I think that's been kind of our secret sauce so far. We've been able to make it fun. Our guys have fun doing it, and hopefully we can continue that.
Yeah, definitely. Coach, before we let you go, I just got to ask you, you said that trip to the Bahamas is a business trip, but you got to have some time for fun, right? So you guys got any fun activities planned for the players and the staff while you're there?
We don't yet, man. I'm sure we'll do some things and we'll have some fun, but it probably depends on how these first couple games go, man. We're 3-0, 4-0. We'll have a lot of fun. Yeah. We're struggling, man. We might tighten it down a little bit. I'm not sure yet.
You tell them, hey, we're the 2 wins away from the beach or 2 losses away from film room for the next
That's right.
for the foreseeable future. Yeah, Coach, we really appreciate you coming on here. Give him a follow on Twitter. He is at Brette Tanner. Coach, we wish you nothing but success this year. We're going to be rooting for you big time. And hopefully you guys have another awesome season, and we'd like to talk to you when you make another run to the NCAA tournament as well.
No, I appreciate you having me on, man. I look forward to that conversation. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Go to the NCAA tournament, you guys are going to have me on again.
Yeah, we definitely will, Coach, for sure.
And that Twitter handle, for people that don't know, it's at BRETTETANNER on Twitter. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, Coach, and
I appreciate you guys.
Tell your buddy Chris Beard to take my phone calls, man. We're trying to get him on the show.
He doesn't take mine half the time anymore.
Tell him a friend of mine saw him at a Mexican restaurant not too long ago. Tell him if he hits us back up, there's some Trudies riding on it, so he'll know what that means.
That might get him.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Thanks so
much, man. You're awesome. Thank you.
See you later.
All right, we hope that you enjoyed those interviews. Next, as promised, the highly anticipated Week 5 NFL betting preview. Our first game here I want to talk to Chad about is the New York Jets coming off their first win of the season. By the way, which we predicted on our show last week. We told you they were live in that game against the Titans, and they had a big upset as 6.5 or 7-point favorites. Those same Jets, +3 in London versus Atlanta. Quick little note here. The over has hit in 60% of London games in the last 10 years, and the over-under here is 46. I think that's definitely worth a look. Chad, what do you think? Jets +3 versus Atlanta in London.
Oh, geez. With the way that New York played last week, who knows what's going to happen, But going to London, you never know what can happen there as well. The layover or the layover, that's like me, shit. No, with the jet lag and everything like that, man, who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, you said 3.5?
3 points.
Yeah, I'll take New York there.
You take the Jets in 3 points. I feel the same way. I feel like both teams are just like not good. So if you're going to give me points, and again, it's basically essentially a neutral field. Technically Atlanta's the home team, but we know that's not the case when these teams are playing in London. A couple interesting trends here. Atlanta is 8-2 against the spread when they have to travel 2,000 miles or more. So for whatever reason, they seem to do well while traveling long distances. And the Jets are 2-13 ATS in their last 15 games on grass fields. I thought that was interesting as well. But still, I like the Jets here +3. It sounds like you and I are kind of on the same page here. Chad, what a shitty game to be showing London.
Yeah, I was going to say, this should be a Thursday night game, dude. What's going on?
For real. I think the whole idea of playing overseas is you want the NFL wants to show other countries the product and say, look at this fun, amazing product we have. And you're showing Jets versus Atlanta?
Yeah.
I mean, this was shitty when the schedule first came out. It's even shittier now.
It seems like they're just like auditioning teams that are going to eventually move to London and shit. Ooh. They're like, let's see, Atlanta might be one of those teams. And obviously the Jets won't, but yeah, Atlanta, I think Jacksonville's playing over there.
They sure point, have, man. They sure have.
Speaking of Jacksonville, I got to get this in, man. As you can't see my other hand. I can't see both of my hands in this video, but I'm doing the little Urban Meyer butt bang motion here. You can get this. Hey, man, just having some fun after a loss.
Well, Chad, I'm glad you brought Urban Meyer up. And I don't want to get too far off subject from our NFL picks, but you said earlier in the year, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 episodes ago, you made a joke about, was it a joke? About Urban Meyer coming to Jacksonville and hitting on the cheerleaders in Jacksonville. And that's why he's interested in the job. And then look at what we have here about 10 weeks later. Urban Meyer, for those of you who I think everybody knows by now, but dude was in a bar. Everybody's talking about the lap dance video, but that's just part of it. That is just part of it. There were also other women, young women on Snapchat who weren't the same woman that was dancing in his lap saying, who is this guy? He's been hitting on me all night.
With me, yeah,
exactly. So multiple women. Meanwhile, his wife is at home taking care of the kids and posting on Twitter, my husband deserves a night out. So this is a really bad look for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to talk about their game later. But here's another angle that I don't think enough people are talking about with Urban Meyer. It wasn't just him being unfaithful to his wife, apparently. And it wasn't just him looking bad in the public eye. He didn't travel with his team. He didn't travel with his team. I was listening to Michael Lombardi, former NFL executive. He said, in his 30 years in the NFL, he's never heard of a head coach not flying home with the team. So,
oh, wow.
So the leadership angle there is so questionable. Then the obvious hypocrisy. How can that coach look his players in the eyes and say, "Don't do this in the future. Don't post shitty things to social media. Don't make us look bad," when he's doing the same thing?
What's hilarious, man, is that he didn't fly home with the team. He could have just done that, man. He's like, just fly home with the team, then you can fly back up. You know what I'm saying? A couple of days later, he's trying to save like $300 on a plane ticket and shit. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's going on, man? You can get a first class ticket for like $600, dude. You're a fucking millionaire. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's like, you know what? No, I'm already up here. Let's not waste $300. Let's just go. Let's go. We can drive right up 71. We'll be there in 2 hours.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like I said,
it's almost like I knew. It's almost like I knew this guy was a piece of shit. It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the type of person he is, man. And he's been like this. And obviously he's a great coach. At least he is in college. But when we're talking about NFL and we're talking about morals and character, Urban Meyer is not going to check those boxes. That dude is a straight dirtbag. And I've known that for years. And everyone's known that for years, and it's when this came out, I don't think it shocked too many people. I think it was shocking how brazen and crazy and irresponsible he was. This dude just don't give a shit, man. He's just like, I wish my wife would find me. I don't care. Shit, Tell Shelly I'm out here finger banging girls on the dance floor. I also want to know what's up with his friend who was standing right beside him while he's just sitting here banging some bitch out and shit. Like, what the hell's wrong? The guy's just talking to him. He's like a normal conversation. Like, hey, man, I got to pick up some eggs later. I don't know if you saw that Missouri game earlier. That was crazy, right? and Urban's just sitting there like banging and shit. Like, dog, what are you doing, man?
Unbelievable.
You can't do that while you're like looking for. If I'm talking to a friend and he's like touching some girl's butt, I'm leaving, and I probably won't talk to him again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna stand there acting like nothing's up. It's like, hey, what's up, Urban? You want me to get out of the way a little bit so you can bang it a little, you get a better angle there?
Thanks for setting some clear boundaries next time we go out, Chad. I appreciate those expectations being set.
Hey, man, just let you know, I got 2 rules. Don't leave me hanging, all right? Don't leave me by myself. And 2, don't be banging bitches out right in front of me. I'm going to fucking leave.
That's fair. Those are fair rules. Those are fair rules.
I will leave your ass real fast. I don't care, man.
Next up on the docket, we got the New England Patriots, 9-point favorites at Houston. Houston coming off that dismal game against the Bills where they were huge fucking 17-point underdogs and still couldn't even come close to covering.
Wow.
And then we got Pats, 9-point favorites. I think they were more competitive in that game Sunday night against Tampa Bay than a lot of people expected. Interesting trend here. Home teams are 10-3 ATS all time in this New England-Houston series. Who do you like here, Chad? Patriots 9-point favorites at Houston.
I'm gonna go with New England, man. They looked really good, obviously, against Tampa Bay, and obviously a lot of that is because Bill Belichick knows Tom Brady, spent 2 decades with him and everything. But they looked really good. They look like they're a quarterback away, a year away from Mac Jones being a really good quarterback and being a really competitive team and being competitive in that division. I think they'll be in the playoff conversation this year. I don't know that they'll make it, but it's going to be interesting to see. But I do think that New England's going to win this and cover.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch this game. It's too many points for me. But I'll tell you what, it's 9 right now. I wouldn't mind a 6.5-point teaser and teasing it down to the Patriots -2.5 because I do think they're going to win this game. I just worry about the backdoor cover and things like that when you got such a large point spread. Next up, we've got Detroit 9 or 9.5-point favorites. At Minnesota. This is why you need OddsShark, folks. I got OddsShark up right in front of me right now. Some places it's 9, some places it's 9.5.
Minnesota's the favorite.
Lions at Minnesota. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Lions are 9-point underdogs. Thank you, Chad. Of course.
You said that. I was like, dog, who the hell are they playing? Are they playing Bishop Sycamore or something this weekend?
People were rushing to their phones to put that bet in.
Favorites, yeah.
Yeah, no, Lions are 9 or 9.5-point underdogs at Minnesota. I really feel like this is the survivor pool pick of the week. If you got to pick one team to win outright, I think Minnesota is a pretty close to a lock to beat Detroit here. Feel really good about it. When this spread was 8, I went ahead and I teased that down to 2 so that Minnesota just has to win by 2. Now that it's 9.5 some places and it might keep going up, that teaser is becoming less and less appealing. Quick little trend here. Detroit is 0-7 in their last 7 games ATS against teams that average less than 1.3 turnovers per game. So in other words, when teams don't beat themselves, when they're playing that caliber team who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, the Lions do not do well. 0-7. Thoughts here, Chad?
Obviously, Minnesota. Did you watch that Browns Vikings game?
To be completely honest, so I was at the sports book, and so I'd see it like out of the corner of my eye. Whenever something big would happen, I'd look over and see the highlights. But that was not one of the games I watched the most closely this weekend.
It was it was one of those old-fashioned 1990s games of defense. 14-7.
You like that shit?
Wasn't conventional. I love that shit, dude. I get tired of this 45-42, 45-41 shootout shit. People are scoring in one play. Like, that's cool and all, but man, I like that defensive 14-7, 13-7, 10-6 games and shit like that. That shit's because every play becomes huge defensively instead of offensively. Special teams start taking a bigger role in the game. A punt can end up turning the entire tide in the game. Is field position. That shit's fucking awesome, man. That's old school shit that I like. It was a 14-7 game. The Browns can play. One thing that I've been impressed with them, and I will talk about them later, but they can play any type of game. And also Minnesota looks like they could as well. They had Dalvin Cook was injured in that game. He wasn't 100%. He had a couple nice runs, but the Browns kept him in check. A lot of that, I think, was his health. I don't know. Is he active for this week? I imagine he is.
Yeah, it's like the typical NFL. Like someone's like not practicing all week and then questionable. So we're not 100% sure, but if I had to bet, I think Dalvin Cook's going to play this week. Yeah,
I'd imagine he probably was just limited in practice this week.
Exactly.
But Detroit, man, that's a tough team. What's the spread again? 9.5?
9 or 9.5, yeah.
Jesus, dude. I wouldn't touch that. But if I had to, I would take Minnesota. I don't know that they're going to win by 10 points, though. Detroit is very physical, much more physical than they were last year. Obviously, the floor for them, the ceiling for them the bar was so low for Detroit that them being competitive in these games is like a miracle in and of itself. But they're a much more difficult team to play this year than they have been in the past. As you saw in that Baltimore game, and the 49ers kind of backdoor covering that game. They had you on pins and needles for there for a little bit, brother. I know that, but I wouldn't touch this game personally. But Minnesota will win that game.
Yeah, it's too many points for me to touch, but I'll tell you why I like Minnesota just to win the game in a survivor pool. The strength of the Lions is their offensive line, and they've got 3 offensive linemen hurt. 2 definitely won't be playing. Ragnow and Decker, that's their center and right tackle. And then Penei Sewell, who's their left tackle, they're saying is now questionable. He may not play as well. So that would be down 3 offensive linemen, cluster injuries at your strength of your team. And oh, by the way, the Vikings have a damn good pass rush, a very underrated pass rush. So that makes me nervous for the Lions. I don't think the Lions have a chance to win that game. Moving on, we've got the Saints -1 or -2, 1 or 2 point favorites at Washington. New Orleans, by the way, is 27-11-1 ATS the last 10 years when they're on the road after a straight up win, not an ATS win, but a straight up win. So we got the Saints 1 or 2 point favorites at Washington. I like the Saints here. Washington's banged up, a lot of injuries. I think they had like 4 or 5 guys get like significant injuries last week, including their tight ends. I think the Saints are going to be pissed coming off that really disappointing loss to the Giants. That one hurt me, by the way. Woo, that game hurt me. Oh, I did not see that coming at all. But anyways, I think the Saints are going to be pretty pissed off, and I think you're going to see a really good effort from them. I like them to cover. I will mention, however, though, I'm not going to do this, but this is a perfect teaser leg if you like Washington here, if you like this matchup. If Washington's a 2 point underdog at home, tease them up to +8. You're going through the 3, you're going through the 7. This is what we call the Stanford Wong teaser leg. And if you're not familiar with what that is, we can talk about it another time on the show. But it's statistically your best bet on a teaser leg when you've got a home team and you can go through the 3 and the 7. So consider that Washington one. I'm not going to do it because I don't like the matchup. What are your thoughts here, Chad?
What's the spread again?
Saints are 1 or 2 point favorites on the road at Washington.
Dude, they've been such an enigmatic team this year. You know, you never really know what you're going to get from them, just as kind of their quarterback. You know, one of the knocks on him has been he's been inconsistent his entire career, and I think he still is a little bit. And we're seeing that play out the first few weeks of the season so far. I can't believe that I guess a lot of that is injuries, but I can't even believe they're favored on the road against Washington. Those are 2 teams that I feel like are very evenly matched. I would take Washington in this game, man. I think that even though with the injuries and everything like that, they're at home. They got a good defensive line. You know, obviously they've taken a little bit of a step back this year as compared to last year. But New Orleans, man, I just don't know what I'm going to get from them, and they're on the road. So I know they're definitely going to be pissed off about that Giants game. But you know, you're at home against New York Giants, man. You gotta fucking, if you're any type of team, you have any aspirations of making the playoffs, you gotta win that game. That was an embarrassing loss. And I think they're gonna follow it up with another loss again this week at Washington.
Nice. Good analysis there from Chad. We've got the Miami Dolphins 10-point underdogs at Tampa Bay. Again, we mentioned it. Tampa Bay coming off that emotional win against the Patriots in New England. Miami, by the way, is 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games when they're in the underdog role. They certainly are here on the road +10 at Tampa. I think I'm going to surprise some people here. I like Miami a lot here in this spot. We talk about the backdoor cover a lot on this show, and when you're talking about a backdoor cover, there's really 2 pieces of that formula that you need. You need a quarterback who can play well when playing from behind. And I think Miami has that in Jacoby Brissett. And then maybe a vulnerable secondary. And the Buccaneers secondary couldn't be any more vulnerable. They have so many injuries in that defensive backfield. Richard Sherman's now their number 1 cornerback, and he's been out of football for a little while. And so I think the Bucs are vulnerable. I still like them to win the game, but I think 10 points may be too many here to give the Bucs. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, that's way too many points. I would take Miami here to cover that. I think they're going to be within, you know, a touchdown, 4 or 5 points. They're going to be playing them tough. And yeah, like you said, man, if Richard Sherman is your number one cornerback, you don't have a number one cornerback. That dude got lit up last week against a rookie. They were picking on him left and right. I tweeted that on our Twitter during the game as well. They were just wherever he was, they were going right at him. And I don't expect Miami to do anything different until, like we talked about on the show, I think very early in our show, we were wondering if he might be better served as a safety. I think that's where
that was our first episode we had with Jesse Sapolo. Yep.
Yeah, I think we were right on the money there. I think he's out of position right now at this stage in his career. They're just going to pick on him, and I think that allowed them to keep it close because they're going to score some points. Tampa Bay, they're going to have to get that cornerback situation shored up because that is one of their glaring weaknesses. Their linebackers, they're Vita Vea on the defensive line. They've got a decent interior and everything, but those guys on the back end are definitely liabilities. And I would think Miami's going to keep it closer than 10 for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like we're on the same side there. Next one, I think this line is very interesting to me. We've got Green Bay 3-point favorites at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 3-1. They're one of the surprise teams in the NFL now at this point. Keep in mind, Cincinnati has extra rest because they had that exhilarating win on Thursday. So they'll be more rested than Green Bay. Green Bay is probably, I haven't verified this myself, I'm guessing Green Bay is probably going to be the most heavily bet team this week. I think a lot of the public is going to be all over Green Bay, only getting 3 points at Cincinnati. Any thoughts on this one, Chad?
Yeah, I can't believe the spread's that low as well. You know what I'm saying? But Cincinnati has been with a 3-1 now. What's the spread again? 3?
It's 3 points. Yeah, damn. I know.
Dude, I don't know. I could see Cincinnati winning that game even, man. Even at they're at home, right?
Yep. So
that's probably what it is, man. I can't believe it's just a 3-point spread. I would expect that to be more like 5 or 6 or even 7, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would take Cincinnati here, man. I think they're going to play well. I think that I'm not saying that they're going to win the AFC North, but I think they got a good team. And won't be surprised a little upset action this week.
Yeah, man. Cincinnati, by the way, is 2-8 ATS after a straight up win. So they've historically been disappointing, but that's under a whole different regime. And so we'll see how they do in this one. This is a fishy line to me. This is one where when I did my numbers, I had Green Bay as a 5-point favorite. And then when I see it sitting at 3, I say, what is going on? I try to get in the bookmakers' heads and figure out why it would only be a 3-point spread. It seems like they're trying to entice some action on Green Bay, and maybe they actually like the Cincinnati side a little bit better. We've talked about this, man. These fishy lines come through, and typically when they seem too good to be true, they are. And then the sportsbook side seems to hit. That's probably going to scare me off of this one. In some, I'm in some pools where like I have to take every game every week. I'm probably going to take Green Bay to cover here. If it's 3, if this goes up to 3.5, I wouldn't be touching that. But yeah, this one is fishy and scares me. I'm going to stay away from it. Next up, we've got Denver, 1-point underdogs at Pittsburgh. Talk about teams that are tough to figure out. I'd throw the Steelers in that category as well. By the way, Denver is on a 7-1-1 ATS surge versus the Steelers, straight up in their last 9 games. Teddy Bridgewater's in the concussion protocol right now. Denver's a 1-point underdog. So here's what I did, Chad. I put a decent sized bet on Denver +1 because I'm basically betting that Bridgewater's going to get out of the concussion protocol. And when he does, Denver's probably going to be the favorite in this game because typically guys aren't in, and there are exceptions, guys aren't in the protocol for more than a week. They're typically able to play the following week. So I'm basically betting on that. Now, could this bite me? If we find out that this is a more serious concussion and Drew Lock is going to be playing in that game, I no longer like Denver +1 in that situation. But this is the risk that I'm taking, feeling like hopefully Teddy can get back in there, and then I'll have a good closing line value with Denver +1 in a game that, in my opinion, they really ought to be the favorite at that point. So Denver 1-point underdog at Pittsburgh. Your thoughts?
This is going to be an interesting game, man, because I think it's going to define both of these teams' season. They're both kind of teeter-tottering, kind of trying to understand what type of team they are.
Good point.
If Pittsburgh loses this game, can we say the Ben Roethlisberger era is over in Pittsburgh because they're going to fall to 1-4? Obviously, not making the playoffs if they lose this game. This is a big game for both these teams. I do like Denver in this game. We're going to find out a lot about both these teams come Sunday, man, because I think this is a perfect matchup too. These are two teams that are kind of on the same trajectory right now, do they have a quarterback? Have they solved that position? Did they both screw up by not addressing that issue during the draft this year? And so we're going to find out a lot about both these teams. I do think Denver's going to win this and cover. But this could be the beginning of the end for Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, it kind of already has been. Everybody's kind of writing's been on the wall. But this could kind of solidify that for Big Ben, man. If they don't win this game, they are in trouble big time.
So you said you like Denver getting the point. Do you agree that if Locke's in there, you no longer like it? Or do you still feel good at that point if Locke is the starting quarterback?
I still do, because honestly, if you make me choose, who would I rather take in one game or at this junction right now in their career, Drew Lock or Big Ben? I'm probably gonna go with Drew Lock, even as disappointing as he's been.
Wow,
I'd still take Drew Lock.
I might too. And wow,
yeah. What does that tell you? He can't throw the deep ball, man. He can't throw the deep ball. I know last year he got the ball out much quicker than he ever did in his career, but it doesn't seem to help, man. I don't know that their wide receivers are as good as they've been in years past. This is a team that's in transition, man, and this is a team that I thought should have picked a quarterback in the draft last year, done whatever they could to move up or what have you to pick a quarterback and been aggressive. They just sat back and they were content with just going with Big Ben another year. They at least need to have like a succession plan, man, and they didn't have that.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, dude. This is going to, even though this is probably two teams that people aren't on people's radar this game, I'm going to be very interested in this game. I'm going to be watching it because I think it's going to tell us a lot about both these teams' season.
Yeah, should be a fun game to watch for sure. I agree. Next up, we've got Philly, 3-point underdogs at Carolina. Carolina, by the way, is 8-1-1 ATS in their last 10 games against big play passing teams that we're defining as they have 7.5 yards per pass attempt. And so the teams that have big arm quarterbacks that have, and this would actually, believe it or not, fit Philly in this case because of their yards per pass attempts, 8-1-1 for Carolina. Philly 3-point dogs. I'm gonna take Carolina here to cover. I think that they looked better against Dallas than the score indicated. They had a couple unlucky breaks in that game. I like what Carolina's doing defensively again, even though they broke down a couple times against the Cowboys. And I think Carolina is a playoff team. I just said it. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think Carolina's a playoff team.
I mean, I think they will probably be too, to be honest with you. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to cover. I can't believe it's only 3, to be honest with you. I think some of that might be conflated because of how well Jalen Hurts played last week against that Kansas City defense, which is atrocious. We've talked about that many times. But, I would take Carolina here.
Yeah, we're both on the same page there. And it looks like Sam Darnold is decent. It looks like it was just the fucking Adam Gase Jets fucking system.
Who would have thunk?
Man.
Who would have thunk?
Man.
You take a mediocre coach from Miami and then put him in New York and then you get the same result. And they're like, this is weird. We didn't expect this.
No shit.
It's like, really? You didn't? Because he had his entire career to base that off of, dude.
Dude, imagine if Sam Darnold becomes a borderline Pro Bowl quarterback, which I think is possible, right? And then Zach Wilson flames out in New York, which is also possible. Imagine if both those things happen at once. Like, what a sick feeling in the stomach of Jets fans. Ooh, brutal.
Dude, that would be brutal, man. Yeah, for sure. Especially they gave up Sam Darnold for damn near nothing, and relatively speaking. And so, yeah, that would be hilarious. That would be the most Jets thing to do ever.
Yeah, for sure. The Panthers, by the way, made a really interesting move this week, getting the Patriots 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore. He's not going to play in this game because he's not fully healthy yet, but that's going to serve them well down the road. And they also got CJ Henderson from the Jaguars, and so they're stacking up in the backfield. I think the Carolina Panthers are really to watch.
I was really surprised that Tampa Bay didn't go harder after Gilmore. They got didn't Carolina get him for a 6th-round pick?
Yeah, Chad, it was a fucking 6th-round pick, and it wasn't even for next year. It was a 6th-round pick in 2023. I mean, this was a bargain of the century. They fleeced
I can't believe that's the best offer they got. That's crazy to me. And if it is, then shame on the Buccaneers and anybody who needs cornerback help, because you could have got him for a 5th-round pick. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You got to at least give it a shot. I know he was injured a little bit last year, didn't play as well, but he's worth a 5th-round flyer. You know what? You need a guy on special teams that bad? You know, those guys are like grow on trees, man. You can find them anywhere.
Yeah, couldn't agree more for sure. Next up, we've got Tennessee 4.5-point favorites at Urban Meyers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep in mind the Jags are on extra rest here because of that Thursday night game. Maybe not Urban. He might not have extra rest because it sounds like he was up late. But the team is on extra rest. A couple trends here. Jacksonville is 10-26-1 ATS. That's not very good at all. At home in October. Tennessee is 13-4 to the over when they're on the road under Ryan Tannehill as their starting quarterback. The over in this one is 48.5. That might be worth a look, by the way. I'm going to surprise you here, Chad. I'm going to actually, believe it or not, take the Jaguars 4.5. It's a divisional, it's a divisional matchup. I'm going to once again fade the Titans. It worked last week. It's a divisional matchup. I believe that there are players in this locker room who hate Urban Meyer. We heard that before this incident, okay?
Yeah.
Whether there was turmoil in the locker room and players were not really resonating with his message. No doubt about it. I also believe there are players in this locker room who like Urban Meyer. It's a big fucking locker room. There's more than 50 players. Some are going to like him, some are not. And this may be a we've got your back, coach kind of game. It's everybody against us. We've been getting made fun of all week on the DNP-CD podcast, all over ESPN. Been getting made fun of all week. And let's show them. Let's show them. I'll also mention, again, the Jags are on extra rest, and they looked better last week, didn't they? They lost to the Bengals. This team doesn't know how to win yet, but they looked better than people thought they would against the Bengals last week, and they're on extra rest. Urban's got something to prove. The team might have their coaches back. I like Jags plus 4.5 here. And upset alert, don't be shocked if the Jaguars win this game outright.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't take Jacksonville ever, especially after what happened last week, man. You know what I'm saying? I think this is just vindication for a lot of those guys. I mean, I know they're professionals and everything. They're going to come out and play hard, some of them. But, dog, they don't like this coach. This coach is a goofball. I give him a 1.5 years tops, this season, maybe a couple games into the next season before something happens. This is this dude's MO, man. This is how he operates. This is how he always operated,
Yeah.
I want to know. I saw a video this weekend that said it was from an interview with Shelley Meyer many years ago or something like that. And she said that Urban Meyer doesn't shower at home in the morning and that he always showers at the facility. And she asked him why he did that. He said it's because the showers there are nicer. And of course, they're nicer when you got like a 22-year-old pre-med student inside the shower waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. We know it's nicer. He's like, yeah. He's like, my shower at the office comes with a 22-year-old fresh out of fucking med school, not some old hag that's been ran through a bunch of times and popped out 3 or 4 damn kids,
Oh, shit.
I like my shower. The shower at a house state's way nicer, okay?
Wow.
And they keep it on the hush-hush. They know to shut the hell up. And not only that, another thing that's hilarious is that, like, you think this is the first time this dude's done this? You know what I'm saying?
No chance.
This is the first time?
No chance.
No, he did it a lot at Ohio State, but they were able to, keep everything under wraps. I'm sure they had, like, a little pimp for this goofball and shit, you know what I'm saying? Because this isn't the first time people have said this about this guy. You know 100%.
What I'm saying? Like I said, you said it earlier on this show. You said it on this show weeks ago. Yeah, before it even happened.
Mm-hmm. Dude, the fact that he was so blatant about it and he's just sitting there talking to some guy about like stock tips while he's just banging butt. Like, that's just like, this dude don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If that's the first time you're cheating on your wife, you're not doing it in front of a full bar who everyone knows who you are. You're at your own restaurant, you dumbass.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like Bob Evans going to Bob Evans, banging some butt in the fucking
in front of the grills.
Yeah, like right by the checkout stand or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's gonna be like, hey, why is Bob Evans banging
That's
butt?
like Ronald McDonald walking into McDonald's and
just banging butt. On in the damn play place or something. Everyone's like, hey, we know who you are, dude. Your face is on the damn restaurant.
Nobody else wears big red shoes like that, Ronald. We know who you are, man.
We got you, motherfucker. So, yeah, man, I'm not betting on the Jags the rest of the season. Don't be honest with you, man.
You're gonna fade them all season. All right.
I would be surprised if he's even lasts the entire season.
Hey, let me throw this out there. If you're going on that train, let me throw a scenario where, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you would bet on the Jags. Urban Meyer gets fired week 9. They got a new interim coach week 10. How do you like him week 10?
Yeah, what's the odds, man? Then maybe I probably would. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, he's going to be back in college before you know it. What's hilarious is that he's still got like that base in Columbus. It's just like it's like some weird ass shit. He's like, just go to my restaurant and bang some tang. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
And I heard that supposedly the dude, it's like this dude's like he's like fucking White Snake or some shit. You know what I'm saying? There's like handlers at the door. Supposedly this girl went up to one of the managers at the place and was like, "Hey, where's some rich guy looking for sugar? We're looking for sugar daddies."
Oh,
and
no
he was
shit.
like, "Come on back. I know just the guy."
Oh, wait, that's come out? That's public?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I read that somewhere on Twitter that one of the people that were exposing it or posted the video said this.
No shit.
That's how they got back there in the first place, because it's like a VIP area. Why does Urban Meyer got VIP area at a goddamn steakhouse? That's weird.
For real, yeah. No kidding.
It's like, so he's like, this is the grooming area back here. I'm going to be honest with you.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Twizzlers everywhere. We got Twizzlers everywhere.
Damn.
You know? So, I'm not betting on them the rest of the season, man.
All right. We're on opposite sides of that one. Fair enough. We got the Bears, 5.5-point underdogs at Vegas, at the Raiders. Chicago, by the way, is 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games against the Raiders. Vegas at home. You got to like that new home field advantage they've got in Vegas. Justin Fields is the starter now officially for the Bears. Andy Dalton's out of the picture. Fields looked a little better last week than he did the week before. Thoughts on this one, Chad?
What's the spread again?
5.5. Chicago 5.5-point underdogs at Vegas.
Wow. 5.5, man. I think I would go with Vegas. I think they're going to be a little pissed off from that game against the Chargers.
Yep.
Which they kind of got manhandled in that game. I'm not so sure. I'm just not sold on Matt Nagy either, man. I don't know that I can trust him as far as I can throw him. I don't think he's a good coach. I think they need to get him out of there as soon as possible before he ruins Justin Fields, who obviously went to Ohio State. I hate to say it, but I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in the league. And he's one of the best quarterbacks I've seen in college in a long time. So, I'm not gonna bet go with Chicago here. I'm going to go with the Raiders at home. Yeah,
me too. I like Vegas here a lot. I really like them teased down just to win. This is my second favorite teaser suggestion of the week here. Vegas teased down. It's at 5.5, so you can tease it down essentially to a pick 'em. I think the Raiders offense can just overpower Chicago's defense. I think Chicago's defense is a little bit overrated too. They're working on reputation a little bit here. And I think Fields just isn't quite there yet. Next up, we've got Cleveland. This is why you got to shop around on OddsShark, folks. They're either 1-point underdogs or 2-point underdogs at the Chargers, who are hot right now. They're coming off 2 big wins here against the Raiders and against the Chiefs. I think people's eyes are starting to open to say Justin Herbert's really good. Maybe the second best quarterback in the league, perhaps, at least in the conversation. And they're hot right now at this point. So who do you like here? This is your Cleveland Browns getting a point or 2, depending on where you shop or where you get your ticket at the Chargers.
Yeah, this is Austin Eckler has been playing really good too, man. Had a great game, averaged almost 8 yards a carry in the last game.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. The guy looks amazing, man. We knew that if he was healthy, that he was going to be really good. And so he is. He looks really good. He's showing how dynamic of a back he is and everything. And so it's crazy, man. This is a team that I do not want to play if I'm the Browns. It's probably like the last team I want to play in the NFL right now, to be honest with you. They're going to be a force. We had them as a dark horse pick for the AFC West.
We sure did.
And we look pretty damn good right now, brother. I think they're definitely making the playoffs this year as long as they stay healthy. Browns, I would honestly, man, I hate to do this, but I'm going to go with the Chargers here, man. I do think they're going to win this game. It's at LA. The Chargers is just a team you just don't want to play right now. And the Browns, I feel like they can win any type of game. We're going to find out this week, you know what I mean? Because I think the Chargers are another team that can win any type of game. They can shut you down offensively. They can run. They can throw. They can manage the clock. Justin Herbert is just he's going to be a damn good NFL player, man. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers here.
Yeah, I'm actually on the other side. I'm going to take Cleveland here. I really like Cleveland teased up. So remember I said the Raiders being teased down was my second favorite teaser. Like, this is my favorite. Get Cleveland at +2, tease it up to +8. I just think it's going to be a close game. I think these are 2 really good teams. I think it's going to be a close game. So if you're giving me 8 points with a really good team, the Browns, I like it. I will say this, though. Baker Mayfield's non-throwing shoulder is injured. And so that does make me nervous because if Baker leaves at fucking halftime or something because of an injury, all of a sudden I'm a lot more nervous about that. So I might temper my expectations on this teaser a little bit just because I'm a little concerned about Baker's health. But I love the Browns teased up to 8 here. Couple trends here. And by the way, if they're not teased up, I still like Cleveland +2 as well, by the way. Underdogs are 8-1-1 ATS in the last 11 games of this series. That trend would favor the Browns here as well. The Chargers are 21-5 to the under when they're at home and they're on a winning streak of 3 or more games as they are now. Chad and I are on the opposite sides. Ironically, I've got his Browns and he's got the Chargers. Next up.
I hope you're right, man.
We'll see. Next up, we've got my 49ers, 5.5-point underdogs at Arizona. Underdogs, by the way, are 7-2 ATS the last 9 times these two teams have faced each other. San Francisco is on an 8-2 ATS run on the road when they're underdogs, and Arizona is 8-2 to the under when they're on a winning streak of 4 or more games, which is the case right now. Arizona looked really friggin' good against the Rams. Not a lot of people were picking Arizona even to cover that spread, and they demolished and embarrassed the Rams, who, by the way, a week earlier, people were saying might be the best team in the NFL because they looked so good against the Buccaneers. So you've got to start looking at Arizona as being one of the best teams in the NFL right now, whether you like it or not. And you've got to start looking at Kyler Murray as being an MVP candidate, whether you like it or not. What do you think here, Arizona 5.5-point favorites against division rival San Francisco at home?
Yeah, man. San Francisco doesn't look good. It looks like they've got a lot of trouble, and it looks like they're going to continue to have a lot of trouble. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big Kyle Shanahan guy. Our buddy Grant Cohn posted his record the other day, and I wasn't aware that he's under 500, I believe.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't know, he just seems kind of like a dick too. So I want to get your opinion on that, man. But I just don't think, I think San Francisco, they got to make a quarterback change. Obviously Garoppolo's hurt again. That's a problem. That's been an issue with him his entire career. I think they just need to pull the Band-Aid off and just go with Trey Lance and just get him ready for this year and next year. Try to do something, salvage the season. And because if they lose this game, it's going to go off the rails real fast.
Yeah, I agree that this is almost sort of a must-win game for the 49ers. Where I disagree, I think it's a little too early to bring Lance in my opinion. So the latest on the injury with Garoppolo, it's his calf. And originally they were saying that this was going to be a multiple-week injury. Now they're saying he might be able to play this Sunday. So is this coach speak? Is this a way so that Arizona has to maybe there's really no shot of Garoppolo playing and now Arizona has to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks? Or does Garoppolo actually have a chance of playing? If Garoppolo's in there, I like the Niners 5.5 to cover because it's a division rival. I like it a lot. If Garoppolo's not playing at that point, I think I got to take Arizona to cover. I like Trey Lance a lot long-term. I don't like him right now as a starting quarterback. And if you listen to Shanahan, if you listen to his words, he doesn't like Trey Lance right now as a starter because he's saying things like, yeah, he looked like a backup quarterback. He looked like a number 2 quarterback. And so it almost seems like Shanahan doesn't have a lot of faith in Lance. And if you look at the play calls, when you've got Deebo Samuel running a fucking reverse on 3rd and 2, because you don't trust your rookie quarterback to get that first down in a crucial situation, that sends a message to me that you don't necessarily trust your quarterback.
It's crazy if he doesn't, man. And I don't know. I think at this point, I don't know that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be able to stay healthy the entire season. So
that's fair.
Even trying to put him in there for what? So he can be injured in week 8, or week 9 or something. And he's out for the season. I think you just got to go ahead and go with Trey at this point. If they lose this game, you definitely have to.
Well, if they do, that's a really expensive backup quarterback on your roster. So if they go that route, I think you got to look at trading Jimmy because you don't want a guy making $20 million a year as your backup quarterback. So if they do, it's a move toward the future, and they've got to unload Jimmy and get something for him while they can.
Yeah, I don't know that you could get much for him, man, to be honest with you. With his injury history, what would they get? 5th round pick?
Well,
maybe?
shit. I mean, if
round?
Stephon Gilmore only gets a 6th round pick, I mean, Jimmy might get a fucking bag of potato chips or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. All right.
A gift certificate for Urban Meyers Chop House. That's what we get. No VIP.
By the way, I saw a great meme. I should have reposted it on our Twitter. It was a picture of Urban Meyer and had a quote from him underneath it. And the quote was, "You've got to respect the grind." I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Truer words have never been spoken, man. You gotta,
I thought that was good.
Respect the bang.
All right, we got 3 games left, folks. New York Giants, 7-point underdogs at Dallas, division rival game. By the way, the Cowboys are 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games when they're on a winning streak of 3 or more. Dallas, 7-point favorites at home against the Giants. You know, these NFC East games over the year, Chad, and maybe I just need to flush my brain of these memories, but it seems like since the fucking 90s, man, like it seems like whenever 2 NFC East teams play and one's a heavy favorite and one's an underdog, the game, for whatever reason, is just closer than people think, no matter what, no matter who the teams are of those 4 teams. That makes me a little nervous here that maybe the Giants can keep it close. I do think their win over the Saints was a complete fluke, and maybe I'll regret saying that, but I think Dallas is going to cover here. I would like it a lot more at 6. I love it teased down to 1, but I think Dallas is just a much better team than the Giants. And I'll admit it, Dallas is better at this point in the season than I thought they would be when the season started. Their defense is way better than I thought. What are your thoughts here on the Cowboys covering 7 points against the Giants?
Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Dallas there. Dan Quinn obviously has done work miracles. They gave up Jalen Smith this week too, which is crazy.
Yep.
So I don't want to spend too much time on the Giants, but yeah, I think Dallas is going to cover this for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I like the Cowboys a lot in this one. Tease down. You've heard my teaser selection so far, folks. We got Dallas teased down to 1, Cleveland teased up to 8. And then Vegas teased down, so they've just got to win the game. That's a nice 6-point teaser right there. 3-team 6-point teaser. $100 is going to pay you probably about $160, $170 on that. That's a nice little trio. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo Bills. This is another example why you got to shop around on OddsShark. I'm on OddsShark right now. Some sites have a 2.5-point spread. Some sites have Buffalo getting 3. We talk so much on this show about how 3 is a key number. At Kansas City. Buffalo getting 2.5 or 3 at Kansas City. These are 2 fascinating teams to me. Who are the Kansas City Chiefs, right? We know their defense is not good. We know they still have that high-powered offense. Are they a wild card team? Are they a premier playoff team? And then you got to look at the Buffalo Bills, right? Who have they played? They're dominating their opponents, but they haven't played anybody. So I was really interested to see what this number came out at. And when you got the Bills as 3-point dogs, I think you got to take the points here with Buffalo.
Yeah, I would as well, man. You're going to find out a lot about both these teams this weekend. Kansas City, like you said, are they a wild card team? If they lose this game, they're definitely, in my mind, a wild card team. Can they stop Buffalo, dude? Is Buffalo going to put up 45? Because I don't know that Kansas City is going to be able to put up 45 on that defense. I think it's going to be a back and forth game, but I do think Buffalo will end up winning and covering.
Here's a couple trends. Kansas City's 5-1 ATS in its last 6 games against Buffalo, and the Bills are 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games after a straight-up win. This is also a bit of a revenge game. Remember, right? Right? Buffalo was knocked out of the playoffs the Chiefs last year. Yeah. Chiefs knocked them out. So this is a game that the Bills probably had circled on their calendar before they saw the Chiefs starting to struggle, before the Chiefs actually looked vulnerable. I love the Bills here with the points. They're obviously live as an upset candidate this week against the Chiefs too. Don't be surprised at all if the Bills win here. I'd sprinkle a little bit on the Bills money line in a parlay for sure. Last game, Indy Colts, 7-point underdogs at Baltimore. Indianapolis, by the way, is 6-1 ATS in their last 7 visits to Baltimore when they're on the road against Baltimore. Baltimore's a touchdown favorite here. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, definitely going with Baltimore here. Indianapolis, we don't know what's going on with their quarterback situation, and it's kind of like San Francisco. Carson Wentz is always hurt, man. You don't know what you're gonna get from him if he's even gonna play. So yeah, I'm going Baltimore here.
Let me ask you: did you see the Colts beating the Dolphins last week? Because that was another one that surprised me a little bit. How handily?
Yeah, I didn't see that either, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I'll just be honest here, folks. The Indianapolis Colts have cost me a lot of money over the last 3 years. This is a team that I've struggled to figure out. Like last year, the year before, fucking Adam Vinatieri, when he wasn't kicking field goals, I lost so much fucking money because I handicapped the game right, and I had the Colts as the better team, what their offensive line would do against the other team's defensive line, etc. And then Vinatieri would miss these inexcusable kicks. So I've just got some bad mojo with the Colts, and it's continued a little bit this year too. To be honest, the games that I've lost this year have been on the Colts. So, oh man, I like the Ravens here to cover, but honestly, I think my own demons here are telling me to stay away from this game, because every time I think the Colts are good and I bet them they're bad, and every time I think the Colts are bad, I bet them they're good. So I'm not going to touch it, folks. I'm not going to touch it. But do I like the Ravens tease down to a 1-point favorite? Absolutely. I would take that for sure. For sure. So that's our that's our slate here of NFL
stuff,
games.
man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good Week 5 contest. This was a great show too. We had a couple of great interviews earlier in the show.
Hey, just because we're on vacation don't mean it stops, man. Keep going.
Exactly.
I didn't get to comment. I'm just like sitting here on the back porch. The alley was taken, so I had to come on the back porch, man. It's unfortunately.
Exactly.
There's people shooting up in the alley. I was like, all right, I go on the back porch, man. Don't worry about it. I can sit there for a little bit. No one's going to know.
So you're in San Diego, am I right, Chad?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego, man. We're about to go to the zoo with my son.
Nice.
It's going to be fun, or the beach. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it's been nice, man. We saw Van Morrison concert while we were here.
Nice.
Little family vacation, man. It's been really sweet.
I love it. And I think the listeners are going to appreciate this show, because I think we're doing really well with these NFL picks and winning people money. But then, our interviews as well. We had John Gallagher from the University of Hartford and Brette Tanner from Abilene Christian. 2 great interviews from 2 awesome leaders, 2 great men's basketball coaches from really 2 up-and-coming programs. So this was a blast to piece this episode together. And always good to have you from the West Coast, Chad.
Yeah, I'm not Daytona Vegas 500, you know what I'm saying? But I'm out here in San Diego and shit. But yeah, man, those interviews were great. John Gallagher was very candid. Brette Tanner was awesome as well, very candid as well. Those are 2 teams that we're obviously going to be rooting for and watching a lot this year. We got some more interviews coming up with some other college coaches that we're excited about as well. And
Chad, I know you're on vacation right now, but I'm going to give you a little bit of work, man. Will you tell the people how to follow us on social media?
Yeah, man. You can give us a follow on all of our platforms are at DNP-CD Sports, except for Twitter, because we were bad boys and we got banned on that shit. We had to start a new page. Fucking assholes. But we were at DNP-CD Show on Twitter. Give us a follow. It's growing daily, man. Tony's doing a good job of reaching out, getting more followers and everything. We got awesome content on there. We're always posting funny shit as well. Especially if I had a few beers in me, I'm going to start saying some weird shit. You already know.
For sure. And if you guys happen to be watching this on YouTube, if you can please give us a thumbs up, please subscribe. We'd love that as well. And before we head out, I want to go ahead and just remind you guys how awesome of a resource OddsShark is. Again, I used them throughout this whole episode, use their lines because these lines are updated every day. It's so important. OddsShark is your source for the latest odds and from leading authorities, expert editorial content, and detailed matchup picks. So if you're looking for statistics and trends for an upcoming game, maybe a little preseason NBA action, maybe some MLB playoffs, NFL, college basketball, college football, OddsShark has that too, and it's absolutely free, folks. They're doing the heavy lifting for you. You might as well check it out. In-depth expert analysis, stats, numbers, and trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. So whether you want to check out tonight's odds or maybe start planning ahead for the future weeks, head on over to OddsShark and start thinking like a shark today. Thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and follow us. We'll be back next week with another awesome episode. Take care.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all of our other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home online at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.